everybody, and welcome back to another edition of our show. Today, I am so happy to have our guest co-host, whose handsome face and physique you might recognize from many fitness shows and even the e-reality series, The Girls Next Door. We've got Mr. Kendall Hogan.
Wow, what an introduction. How nice. You're just too kind.
I try.
It's actually my pleasure to be here working with you and
Glad
to be
to
a
have
part
you.
of No More Down Low. So let's get started. Now, right before the holidays, we finally got rid of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. But I bet you didn't know that black women, more than any other group, were discharged under this law. Well, right now, Mark Noble introduces us to Evelyn Thomas.
No longer will tens of thousands of Americans in uniform be asked to live a lie or look over their shoulder in order to serve the country that they love.
Let me hear you stand up now.
About a month ago, I actually wrote a letter to Michelle Obama and President Barack Obama
Stand up right.
because African American women, women of color, are the most impacted by the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy.
December 22nd, 2010, President Obama signs the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, setting the stage for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, questioning people to serve openly in the military, despite opposition, including the most vocal Senator John McCain.
I know the military very well, and I know what's being done. And what is being done is that they're not seeking out people who are gay.
The behavior and actions of John McCain are expected. It wasn't new for any. It wasn't a new information for me.
A repeal that changed history for the future. But what of those LGBTQ military personnel, particularly females like Evelyn Thomas, who's become the face of ongoing discrimination in the military?
I remember the day that I swore in, he asked me two questions. Are you a homosexual? Have you ever participated in homosexual activity? And for the first time in my life, I knew who I was and who my love was considered illegal.
Evelyn Thomas enlisted in the military in 1986 for a total of 6 years, first in the Army, then the Marines. According to Thomas, her service in the latter branch would be the downfall of her military life.
I was dating a woman at the time, and it was my first mature relationship. And I took the letter and I hid it in my footlocker. My roommates went into my footlocker, stole my letter, took that letter and turned it into my commanding officer. And I'm standing in front of his desk at attention, and he reads me my Miranda rights. And the first thing I thought is, what crime did I commit? And he asked me, are you a homosexual? And the first thought that went through my mind is, how did he know?
All eyes were on Thomas, her privacy virtually non-existent.
They actually transferred me to an isolated area weapons field training battalion because I was considered a problem Marine. He basically told me to watch my step and be aware of who I hang around with, and I refused to do it. I walked away from it, honorably discharged.
Thomas, a high school teacher, is also the founder of the Sanctuary Project, with advocates for military personnel and their families who've been impacted by DADT.
It was established after the tragic death of Seaman August Provost, stationed at Camp Pendleton. While he was on guard duty, someone came into the guard shack, forced him on the ground, handcuffed his hands, shot him 3 times, and poured flammable liquid over his body. After his tragic death, his family came out and said that he was being harassed and discriminated against because of his perceived sexual orientation.
We stand here today in solidarity.
That act motivated Evelyn to turn from military outcast to activist for LGBTQ soldiers, particularly African-American same-gender loving military personnel. She was amongst the LGBTQ activists to handcuff themselves to the front gate of the White House. And now with this signing, in Evelyn's opinion, this is just the first of many steps.
We have to provide some type of protection for those LGBT people who begin to serve openly. If I had an opportunity to re-enlist in the armed forces, would I do it all again? No, but I do support people who do wish to go into the armed forces.
Wow, I think you would agree with me that Evelyn is one brave woman. If you want more information about Evelyn and her organization, the Sanctuary Project, click on the resources link right here on the No More Down Low website.